What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your hosts, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Mike Bash back again for the first time in like a month or so. What's going on, Mike?
Not much. I promised I'd be back for the draft. Had a couple of vacations lined up. Had a wedding, two weddings lined up that I had to go to. So I'm good. I'm recharged. I'm ready for the NBA draft. Hope to hear my boy Ron Harper Jr. get called, but we'll see what happens.
I hope so. I mean, I've heard the gambit of people saying he'll go somewhere mid-second, late second, and then undrafted. So there's a whole lot of different areas he could go. But as of right now, and we'll put the banner up here, we'll probably switch this around a lot. We'll talk about a lot of things. For those wondering, we're going to have the we both have the draft on in the background, so we'll be delivering some news the moment it comes up. And I know Woj is leaking a lot of things, but as of right now, Paolo Banchero goes number one to Orlando. And I'm pretty sure, based on all the betting sports books, he was the third highest odds to go number one. And I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
I'm surprised. I mean, a lot of people had Banchero as the third best player in this draft, and I don't necessarily disagree with people that say he's the third best player in the draft. I thought Jabari Smith was the best player in the draft, as did you, or even Chet was a toss-up between the two of them. I thought Banchero was a clear third best player, but he might be the most, as they like to say, pro-ready player in the draft. I think his game definitely translates well to the next level in terms of a guy who can be an instant producer, but I don't think he offers the same upside that Jabari and Chet offer. So, but looking at Orlando has, you know, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter, they have Cole Anthony, they have Franz Wagner. So you put him next to Wagner, I guess Bamba will be their starting five, right? Unless I'm missing somebody.
Wendell Carter, maybe?
Yeah, but he's more of like a four. So, you know, you have him and Wagner and Anthony as the core of that team. I mean, you have three solid guys. Again, I would have went Jabari Smith. He's going to play the same position as Banchero. But it'll definitely be interesting. NBA draft compares them to Ben Simmons and Michael Beasley. I think he's got a little bit of a better jump shot than Michael Beasley. So
I don't know. Beasley had a pretty good shot.
Ben Simmons.
I was about to say. Tyler, actually, what's up? What's going on, Tyler? Glad to have you back watching the show again. He asked if this is good for Orlando. I mean, I think honestly, no matter who they went with the top three, it's good for them. To be honest,
yeah. I mean, I don't think you could really miss here. I don't think there's going to be a bad pick out of the three. But I always would go with the highest upside.
Right. Completely agreed. And to be honest, with all of the research that I was doing over the last, I'd say 2 weeks now, I feel like a lot of people were still thinking Jabari was the safest pick because at his absolute floor, I mean, he was getting he's an elite shooter. Already, I would call Jabari an elite shooter. His three, he was shooting 42% or something like that for the whole season last year in college. His dribble pull-ups, his catch and shoots were all textbook. He looked great. His defensive tools, I should say, are great. His frame is great. And all of that. So, obviously, a lot of people had Jabari going first because of those things. And then Chet, obviously, the biggest thing with him is, the weight, the frame, things like that. But almost everybody that I was watching and the tapes that I was watching and, some of the scouting reports that I read and watched, they all think Paolo has the highest potential. And that's something that I'm kind of surprised because for the longest time, up until I'd probably say like a month ago, everyone thought Chet had the highest potential.
Chet definitely has the highest potential. I don't know where that comes from. Paolo doesn't have that, like, no, Chet. There's no way you could frame it that Paolo has the highest upside in this draft. There's no way. Jabari's a freakier athlete, and Chet is a freakier build. With how big and talented he is. Paolo is the safest of the three. I think he's most definite to produce right away, but I don't think he has the same upside. I don't think he has the same upside as the other two.
It's interesting you say that because, like I said, me personally, I thought Jabari was the safest. Just because, like I said, elite shooter, plays good defense, huge wingspan, all of that, like, good for defensive purposes and everything. So I always thought that he was probably the safer pick. But, I mean, I definitely see where you're going. However, I feel like Chet is also still, out of those three, I feel like Chet's the riskiest pick. Because what if he doesn't catch up to the speed of the NBA? What if he doesn't put on enough weight? Like, then does he become like Mo Bamba 2.0?
I'm not worried about Chet, but if I were you, well, we'll see who goes number 2 here.
Adam Silver's coming out right now with the pick. I'm sure plenty of you probably already saw Woj's tweet and already know who it is.
Chet Holmgren.
See, I like Chet Holmgren to OKC.
I do too.
Center is what they needed the most in OKC. Like, in Orlando, he probably would have been the best center, like, right away if Orlando drafted him. But they do have some big men down there that are serviceable. They definitely needed, like, a wing and a power forward, that kind of hybrid player, which Banchero does fulfill. But OKC, they already got Gilgeous-Alexander. They already got Giddey. They already got Trey Mann is one a lot of people like. They already have Dort. They have a ton of these guards and wings, and the center was the last thing they needed.
So what I think you're saying is that maybe you now want to trade the number 1 pick because Jabari fell to 3. And now that I have picked 4, I'm in the market to trade up again.
See, to be honest with you, like I've been saying, the research I've been doing, I've kind of started liking Banchero. But Jabari falling to 3, I don't think is a bad thing. Because Houston still needs a power forward. I mean, Houston, like,
I guess I could see the value of Sengun, who I just traded away.
True. He'll definitely get some playing time at center. So, but Jabari, Jalen Green, pick and rolls, pick and pops, those are going to be crazy. I don't know why Mike just left, but for the rest of you guys, you, like, when you're talking about Houston and you have a guy like Jabari picking popping for Jalen Green, that's a deadly combo for many years to come. I mean, like, there's no way you have, like, a downside to that. There he is.
I accidentally hit the exit button on my screen. I didn't mean to do that.
It's all good. I was just talking to the chat, to everybody out there, that when it comes, like, you were asking about that Jabari falling to 3. Jabari and Jalen Green is going to be a great duo.
Yeah, and you got Sengun, and you got Josh Christopher, you got
Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah, no, it's It's good. Well, but we all knew the top three. We all even probably knew the top four. We probably even all knew the top five. The top five of this draft has pretty much been set in stone. Now, what order they were going in, we didn't know.
True.
But are you watching this on NBA on ESPN?
Yes.
Are you seeing this James Harden, Russell Westbrook?
This is a weird animation they have going on here. It's like, yeah, of course they've been the worst in the NBA the last 2 seasons.
Do the Nets have any picks tonight?
I don't know if you have a second round pick or not.
Do we have a first?
No, because the Nets would have gotten the Sixers first, but they deferred it to next season.
Oh, okay.
So you'll get the Sixers pick next season. The Sixers keep the pick this season.
Got
it. Tyler here asked, y'all see that Zion is in crazy shape?
I did
see those. It's crazy how much that narrative has changed. It does sound like whatever they did, that, like, whatever New Orleans did, to make sure, like, he was incorporated in the team and rehabbing near the team and everything must have done wonders. Not saying that was the whole thing. Zion has a part in it too, but yeah, that's going to be scary if he returns to even better shape. Yeah, that's scary. So, Mike, while they're still talking about this Houston pick, let's talk about an ex-Houston Rocket real quick. Christian Wood got traded to the Mavs for pretty much nothing. Do you think that, like what do you think the thought process was with Houston? Like, I feel like you could have gotten some better picks or some better
what
young
ended up
players
being
or
full
something.
Trade?
Let me bring it up here, but I know Boban was a part of it.
Yeah, it was just all filler stuff.
It pretty much was. Let's see. It was. Here we go. Bringing up the ESPN article.
So are we going to have another Jason Tatum, Markelle Fultz situation with Banchero and Jabari, where picking 3 was better than picking 1?
I mean, if you want to go back, there's been a few drafts in the last few years where number 3 was better than number 1.
There has been.
Joel Embiid was number 3, and Andrew Wiggins went 1. What else? Jaylen Brown went 3 when Ben Simmons went 1, I believe. And then there was wasn't Luka Doncic 3?
Yes.
And the number 1 was Wiseman, wasn't it?
Correct.
So it definitely could be the case. But to answer your question about the trade, Dallas sent Boban, Marquise Chris, Trey Burke, and Sterling Brown, as well as the number 26 pick.
So it's basically the 26th pick for Christian Wood.
Pretty much. Because the rest of it is just a bunch of crap.
So I'm reading here in a Discord that 5 days ago, Paolo Banchero's odds to go number 1 were 18-1.
Damn.
18-1. That means you bet $100, you would have won $1,800.
I wish I bet some money.
I wish I did too. And apparently they took Paolo, and he never even worked out for them.
Of course. Putting up all these smoke screens. Why is that? All right, for those of you who might be watching ESPN, do we have to know that he has Forever Humble tattooed on his chest? We're talking
it's better
about
than the
Jabari
NFL
Smith
draft a few years ago, where every pick they're like, mother died from cocaine overdose.
Oh yeah,
Mother was shot 3 times in sophomore year of high school.
The media loves just like playing all this traumatic events and all this kind of stuff, and they highlight it as if it's like, oh man, this is a good thing. Like, do we have to learn about their traumatic situations in life? Like, I just want to see these people succeed. You don't need to replay all this stuff and have them relive all that. Um, but either way, for those listening at home, Jabari Smith officially picked as the number 3 pick. So Christian Wood traded. They got pretty much nothing for him. The number 26 pick. They add Jabari Smith Jr. What are your thoughts on, like, do you think Houston should have just kept Christian Wood at this point? Or what do you think?
I felt like Christian Wood is not old enough where they have to dish him right now, and I felt like this trade made no. I didn't like this trade. I really didn't like this trade. What is Sacramento doing?
I mean, to be fair, I love this trade for Dallas.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Yep. Did Woj tweet something?
Yep.
Oh god, here we go.
Do you want to know who they're taking?
They're taking somebody or they're trading it?
They're taking.
All right. Who are they getting?
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray. At number
which means Jaden Ivey's going to be a star, a superstar, because after every Kings pick, the next player picked is a star.
I mean, you're not wrong. But I will say it kind of makes sense because they have a ton of guards. So
who's 5? I wish I had the draft order. 5 is Detroit, which or 6 is Indiana. Ivy said he wanted to be in Indiana or New York.
Well, yeah, because I guess in Detroit's case, you already have Cade Cunningham. And Jaden Ivey is more of a point guard than he is a shooting guard, right?
Yeah. No. Ivy's more of a shooting guard.
He is more of a shooting guard?
He's a shooting guard. He's a 2 guard.
Okay.
So
Woj is doing this thing again where he's just coming up with different words other than
zeroing in and
lasering in. If that's the case, all right, so Ivy's still going to be on the board. You got Keegan Murray going to Sacramento. Do you think Detroit then tries to trade this pick and actually get somebody in return? Like, that could help. Maybe not, like, immediately, but because there were rumors about the San Antonio Spurs dealing DeJounte Murray. I mean, I know obviously he's not that much of a fit next to Cade Cunningham, but do they go for something like that? Maybe with somebody else?
Who, Detroit?
Yeah.
I would think they got to go Ivy here. If I could find like a draft board that had like best available players.
Well, before we get,
here we go. I mean, who's after? Who do they have? Like, come on. Oh, here we go. Prospect rankings. I'm like looking for a. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe is a bit of a mystery man, but I feel like after Ivy and even after Sharpe, there's a clear drop off in talent. So Ivy's got to go here to 6, or to 5, and I just think that's going to be a really dynamic backcourt in the next few years.
True. I mean, could they go? I mean, I see. So, like, this is just a for instance. I'm looking at Bleacher Report's big board. I don't know if that's the one you're looking at or not, but they had Keegan Murray down at like 8th. And in between Ivy at 4th and Murray at 8th, there's Dyson Daniels from the G League Ignite. There's Benedict Mathurin from Arizona. And then there's Shaedon Sharpe. Now, obviously all of these positions are ones that would work in Detroit. Um, but before we even get to Detroit, we're not even talking about the fact that the Kings did end up selecting Keegan Murray. They didn't trade anybody, but Keegan Murray's a power forward, and they just traded for Sabonis.
Well, Sabonis will play center. Keegan Murray. So in terms of a fit, Keegan Murray playing next to Sabonis is actually a pretty good fit because, they're showing right now on ESPN a comp of Pascal Siakam. I think Siakam's got a little more juice to his game, but I think that's a good fit in terms of skill set. So I think they'll fit well together. I do like the fit there, but passing on Ivy's. The only reason I guess it's a better fit. Ivy next to Fox, I don't know how well that would fit.
I wouldn't either because neither of them are that great of a shooter.
But now you put Ivy with Cunningham.
That's true. That's true. I mean that is a nice duo. My thing with Sacramento though.
These picks are coming in so fast.
Woj tweeted again.
I just listened. Bobby Marks. The trade package for Kevin Durant, if he is traded, would likely be the biggest trade package in NBA history.
I mean, not surprising. Woj did tweet what the next pick is for Detroit, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm gonna take a 2-minute intermission and go get a drink because you're making me thirsty with this beer. So while Ivy gets picked, I'm gonna let you hold it down and get a beverage.
All right, sounds good. So Jaden Ivey going to Detroit. It's as we were saying, this is a pretty good pick for Detroit. I do like the duo of Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey together. Cade Cunningham obviously proved, especially in the second half of the season, that he can run an offense and be the primary playmaker and focal point for an offense in just his rookie year. So having him alongside, Jaden Ivey, who has the crazy amount of athleticism that he has, coming in at a 2 guard and being able to fill a lot of different spots that other people on the court may not be filling. And on top of that, so you got Cade Cunningham at the 1. Say you slot Jaden Ivey in at the 2. You still have I am drawing a blank on his name, but he from Villanova. You guys know who I'm talking about. He is Sadiq Bey. He's still in there. You can have him as a 3 or a 4. They did trade Jerami Grant, though. So you got a little bit of a hole to fill at that point. But then you still have Isaiah Stewart, who can be a very serviceable center for you. So I like what they're starting to build in Detroit. It's still probably like a few years away from being a actual playoff team, let alone a contender, but it does have the infrastructure of a pretty good team right now. And we will talk about Jerami Grant as well. For those of you who don't know, Jerami Grant was traded to Portland. And again, there really wasn't all that much in that trade, but it is what it is. So let's see here. All right. So if we are talking about the Jerami Grant trade real quick, the Blazers are sending a 2025 first-round pick that originally belonged to Milwaukee. They will swap second-round picks in tonight's draft. Detroit will get the 36th pick. Portland will get the 46th. And then Detroit will also get a 2025 second-round pick from Portland, and Portland will send a 2026 second-round pick to Detroit as well. So, again, pretty much just a whole lot of draft filler for Jerami Grant. It really wasn't all that great. So, interested to see how they fill the hole of Jerami Grant. Interested to see what exactly goes on with Detroit. I believe Marvin Bagley's at Detroit now, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess they'll probably use him around the 4 and the 5. He actually played pretty well for them in the second half of the season too, after the trade, before he ended up getting hurt. But yeah, I do like the Jaden Ivey to Detroit pick. I think Cunningham and Ivey together is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, and just to give a little background on both Ivy and Keegan Murray, and I can't even get this out because these picks are coming in so fast from Woj. Number 6, do you want me to ruin it?
Yeah, go for it.
Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona.
Okay.
Keegan Murray, I watched both Ivy and Murray when they played at Rutgers, and up close, since I have really good seats. And Ivy is so fast, so quick, like John Morant level quickness, and I can see him being a John Morant level player in the NBA. I don't think he has the playmaking John Morant has, but in terms of like burst, quickness, like up and down the court, he's up there with everyone. He needs to work on his shooting a little bit. Needs to get a little bigger. He's a little slender, but totally future's very bright with him. Keegan Murray is a player that I think he definitely has a lot of skills that are going to translate to the NBA. But being picked as a 4th pick in the draft, he needs to be more aggressive. He's a guy who kind of lets the game come to him, which is good. But when he needs to take over games sometimes, and a lot of his offense, it helped playing in Iowa, free flowing offense, up and down team. Wasn't as great of a creator of offense in terms of like he wasn't able to just take the ball, go 1-on-1, and either score himself or set up a teammate or draw a foul. Doesn't mean he's not a great offensive player, but it was more system based than like him just being like that much more dominant than everyone. And as I say that about Jaden Ivey, they give an NBA comparison to John Morant on ESPN. Right. So both are great players. Both lost at the rack this year. They went combined 0-2 against Rutgers at the rack. They went combined 2-2 overall. Both great players. It's great to see 2 guys from the Big Ten go in the top 5. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to be completely honest with you, though. I didn't watch a lot of Arizona basketball, so I'm not really too well versed on Benedict Mathurin. But I know he's got a lot of hype coming out with him. And what do you got with him?
Well, before I get there, we have an appearance from Dennis Big Sexy Clausen. What's going on, Dennis?
What's up, fellas? Mike, welcome back. I would like to say I missed you, but I don't want to lie to you. So,
Dennis, are you wearing like a tank top?
That's right. You call me Big Sexy for nothing.
Damn right. Do you have a tattoo, Dennis, on your shoulder?
Yeah, I do. Little.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, for about 20 years.
You learn something new every day.
That's right.
It almost looks like you're sitting at my parents' old house. That corner looks exactly like the house I used to live in.
This is the command center for me. This is where we're watching the NBA draft. We're checking out how things are going on, and I wasn't sure if Jaden Ivey was he crying because he was happy he got drafted, or was he crying because he got drafted by the Pistons?
It could be both.
So, I mean, he had if he went to Sacramento, I would have cried. If he's going to Detroit, I would have cried. I don't think Indiana's that much better, but it would have been a little bit better considering.
True. I mean, especially Mike and I just talked about him with Cade Cunningham actually should be nice, but him with Tyrese Halliburton would also be a very nice duo.
Yeah, that would have been good, but you never know what Indiana has up their sleeve in terms of what they're going to do with the roster, who they're going to keep. I mean, yeah, they're not going to get rid of Halliburton because they're going to build around them, but overall, I mean, it's kind of hard when you hear Malcolm Brogdon's I wouldn't be surprised if Malcolm Brogdon got dealt tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Miles Turner was dealt tonight. So, I mean, July's coming up here, and, next week we got the July 1st, which is when everything's going to start happening around the NBA. A lot of stuff is going to go down. So this is just kind of the tip of the best, one of the best times of year in the NBA.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
And I'm a little surprised too. Go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was just kind of looking. If you look at all the guys that were drafted in the top 4, you got a lot of lengthy, efficient shooters. Guys who kind of have the same build to them and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly which one of those guys is going to do something.
Agreed. And we were talking about this earlier, and we were talking about how the top 3 went, because obviously leading up to this, a lot of people thought Jabari first, a lot of people thought Chet first, and even though a lot of people do like Banchero, they weren't putting him up in the number 1 pick. But it is a question mark on a lot of these guys. Like, some people do put on the weight and put on like enough for an NBA body, but some of them aren't even close to it, and it doesn't work out like that. Like, I mean, you still have guys like, sure, Nerlens Noel is, serviceable in spurts and everything like that, but he never actually put on the weight enough to really bang down low with the best of the best. And at this point, you also have to worry about all sorts of different offensive games. And real quick, Mike, we were just talking about Benedict Mathurin, and they say his comparison is OG Anunoby, and if that's what they get out of him, an OG-like player,
I'm shaking my head because hopefully he stays healthier, more healthy than I don't know how to more healthier than OG has, because OG, only thing that the guy, OG is one of the best all-around players in the league. The only thing that's stopping him from doing anything is the fact that the guy's like a fucking stick. He's hurt constantly. So if Portland seems to be in the running to grab him, that would be huge for them, considering they just got Jerami Grant. But back to, Chet averaged, three blocks in college. I mean, he's still kind of small for a guy his size, so you're 100% right when you say these guys, you're in college, but now you're coming to the big leagues, and you're not going to average 3 blocks in the NBA. I can guarantee you that. These guys, they better put on some size, because they're going against guys who, even Dwight Howard, even at his advanced age, he'll still make mincemeat out of most of these guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even JaVale McGee would throw some of these guys around.
Absolutely.
And he's not anywhere close to being a top center. Like, imagine Chet going against Joel Embiid right now.
He would get crushed immediately.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why, I like Scotty Barnes last year, because if you look at how young he was, he has like an NBA body. He's a guy who had like an NBA frame. A lot of these guys are really small. They can shoot. A lot of these guys are good shooters, especially from, for guys who are forwards. They could shoot really well, like really high percentage 3-point shooters for big men. But it's more than just shooting at the NBA level. You got to be able to do all the little things well, set screens, all that other stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this works out.
Apparently, the Knicks are still trying to acquire Jaden Ivey, even after he was drafted.
Well, they were rumored to be looking at getting the 4 spot from the Kings. So I think Detroit might be a little surprised that they got to him. So, but when you look at Sacramento's backcourt, you never thought that Ivy would be going there anyway, especially when they got Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox back there. Mitchell seems like he's ready to make that step up. So, it makes sense, and we'll see how Murray fits in. It's going to be, you got Harrison Barnes possibly still on the roster, and Rashawn Holmes and guys like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of playing time he's going to get in his first year.
Agreed.
But I think the guy...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I think the guy who's going to get obviously the most minutes is going to be Chet in Oklahoma City, because really their roster is just nothing. They have no reason to sit him in the first year. He's he's going to be starting right away, more than likely. So if you look at how it's going to play out, I'm fired up from the NBA draft, as you can tell. But if you look at the minutes he's probably going to get, he's a guy right there who could be rookie of the year.
And it looks like the mystery man is going to end up in Portland. Shaden Sharp, the guy who went to Kentucky, didn't play a game at Kentucky. He comps pretty well to Brandon Roy. So it's interesting that he went to Portland of all places.
Isn't he like insanely athletic too? Like I saw something about like he has a 40 something inch vertical or something like that on top of everything, and there's obviously a lot of mystery with him not playing a game at Kentucky, but from everything that all the tape that is out there on him, there's a lot of very promising things, but I don't know. If he's going to Portland and Portland starts to make some more moves, honestly, Shaden Sharp could just be a trading chip for Portland right now. If they already made that move for Jerami Grant, they're obviously going to be looking for more guard help with Dame. And if they're not planning on trading Dame, then keeping somebody like this could be either here nor there. If this could land you someone who can help you right now and is still like probably around like 25, 26, I feel like Portland makes that kind of deal.
I got a great idea. We could trade Kyrie Irving for Damian Lillard right now. And at this point, why not? Dame's not going anywhere. He's staying. And you're 100% correct, too. I'd be surprised if Portland holds on to this selection here. So I'm still waiting. It's kind of too calm right now for me on the trade end of things. There hasn't really been anything going on, so it's kind of weird, but I'm still waiting for something to go down.
Especially because this is one where I know, like it's been said a few times in different drafts, how they've been like, oh, this draft is going to be a ton of trades, this and that. But it seemed like almost every reporter was very confident there was going to be a lot of movement with this draft. And so far, at least during this draft, there hasn't been anything. And even before this draft, Christian Wood, Jerami Grant moved, but it was pretty much for nothing for both of them. So I don't know. I agree. It's been very quiet, and it's kind of weird because there's been rumors of the Sixers trading their pick. There's been rumors of Portland making some sort of trade. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans made a move too, because Zion coming back, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Valanciunas, they have a lot of really good veterans, and Zion, obviously the young one coming up. I could see them making a move to get another good veteran, but again, I haven't heard a single thing. I haven't seen anything on Twitter just yet. It's weird.
I wanted to touch on real quick, too, that the Christian Wood trade, how I think it's a fantastic move for the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks got rid of some expiring contracts, and they're getting a guy who can add some much-needed presence underneath the basket. A lot of times they had Dorian Finney-Smith rolling at the 4. They had Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber. Those guys are kind of limited. But I'm not thrilled on like Christian Wood as a player, like mostly for the contract that he got. But that's a significant upgrade for Dallas,
especially on the offensive end of things for that position.
And he doesn't even need to play offense, so. He's a big body who could just, if he wants to just pass the ball. Luka should be taking about 57 shots a game this season.
Agreed. And hopefully they also re-sign and keep Brunson, too, because that would be devastating if they lost him.
Well, that's going to be the biggest takeaway right now is whether Brunson's going to stay in Dallas. Brunson's a good player, but when Luka's around, like, Brunson's kind of an afterthought. He's ready to get his number one spot somewhere, But if he stayed in Dallas, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad thing, especially considering how much Luka gets injured. So, I mean, he's capable, a guy who's definitely capable. You know, he was one of the best, number two options in terms of guys who didn't really start all the time. Sometimes he started, sometimes he didn't. You know, he came off the bench a lot, like throughout his time in Dallas and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if he doesn't end up at Dallas, it's probably foreseeable that he's going to go to New York, which God bless him.
Right. Yeah. Good luck with that.
So you want to? I mean, you want to leave Texas? You want to leave barbecue? You know, nice weather to go to New York City. Smells. It's dirty. It's
the team
expensive.
sucks.
Team sucks. Your owner blows. You know what I mean? So
exactly. No, I agree. It's gonna be there's gonna be a lot to look for Dallas, especially because with how great of a season they had this year, now everyone's looking for them to get over the hump, especially to see what happens with Golden State, if everyone's gonna stay healthy for them, or if if they're gonna fall out of favor. But
well, I think that was one more thing. I'm just trying to rapid fire. I said that was if you looked at Golden State in the finals, which we didn't really talk about the finals, but I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I think Golden State that this is it for them. I don't see them. I mean, Clay does not look good at all. He didn't look good at all. He didn't play well in the NBA finals. Draymond Green looks older and slower. Even Curry, a guy who's looked invincible over the years, didn't look like himself. Thank God they had Andrew Wiggins. Thank God they had Jordan Poole. And thank God they had guys like Gary Payton who could step up defensively. I mean, no wonder why Gary Payton's going to be looking for a ton of money, so it's going to be he's kind of one-dimensional in some ways. He's a good offensive player. He's not great. He can play offense, but he's mostly, he's not a guy that wants – they got him at a discount, but it's highly likely that this is going to be the team moving forward. But we were talking about them just keeping Kevon Looney and just getting rid of James Wiseman to kind of bolster their roster a little bit. So,
right. Yeah, no, there's a lot of movement still to happen, especially because we're not even at free agency yet. So who knows which free agents go where, who opts out of a contract that hasn't opted out yet, who opts in that hasn't opted in. There's a lot of different things that we still have to see. And this just in, the New Orleans Pelicans just drafted Dyson Daniels out of Australia and out of the G League Ignite. This guy, honestly, is one of the ones that I've been looking at as a really good, outside the top player pick. I could see him being a solid starter. I could see him being a solid contributor, maybe not an all-star or anything, but I think he could be a really quality pick. And if New Orleans keeps him, I could see him being a pretty good bench guard, especially if Devontae Graham doesn't get his act together.
He'll probably get. I wouldn't be surprised if they shipped him out of there, to be honest with you.
Daniels will eventually start over him, I think. Daniels comps pretty well to Lonzo Ball as a big guard, a guard that you want to play out in space, out in transition. Can
Dennis's favorite.
Defend multiple levels, and plays under control, but has length and height. So yeah, Daniel's a good pick there. It should help them, kind of replace what they have been missing ever since they let go of Lonzo and let go of Drew Holiday. So a defensive point guard with the ability to score. Not as a 30-point a game kind of guy, but a guy that can get his own basket when needed.
Right.
Well, and then you add in there Alvarado and Hayes and Herbert Jones, and hopefully Zion could stay healthy. They're definitely a playoff team this year.
I'm out of cheese doodles. So Dennis, I thought you were doing roto-baller coverage. Did they kick you off?
We are. We took a little break. I didn't want to miss this momentous occasion of you actually, coming back.
Sources: Pistons are keeping Jaden Ivey despite several attempts from teams to acquire him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if he was crying going to Detroit, he would have been sobbing if New York wanted him.
So what do the Spurs do here? There's a lot of rumors with DeJounte Murray.
Which I don't understand those rumors. Like, why would they want to trade DeJounte Murray? I don't get it.
I cannot understand. I mean, this guy is an MVP caliber player. The only reason he's not in the conversation is because the Spurs aren't that good.
True.
But if the Spurs were better, I would take Murray over Morant right now. I would take him. He's such a he gets no respect in terms of from anybody. But I mean, if you look at the guy, he can do everything. He can good defensively, assist, boards. Like he's like a triple double guy. Like he's like a Russell Westbrook light a little bit. You know what I mean? So
not just that, but he's a great defender.
Yeah, what do you have? Like two steals a game or something he averaged?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other reason he's not in the MVP conversation, like I said, is because he's on the Spurs. But if Brooklyn wants to trade Kyrie Irving to the Spurs and get Murray, I would be more than ecstatic for that. I
mean,
I'm basically
very
just
true.
trying to find deals to get rid of Kyrie Irving like tonight. Because this whole situation is just getting really stupid really quick. When we talk about reporters and everything, and then all of a sudden, first you hear Kyrie's going to pick up an extension. Then you hear money's not an issue, it's the length of years. Then you hear Kevin Durant hasn't said anything about it. Then you hear Kevin Durant may walk if Kyrie gets traded. Then you hear like all this shit you're hearing. So and honestly, at this point with Kevin Durant, if he doesn't realize that Kyrie Irving is an issue, he's no good to the club either. He might as well go too.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to get both of your thoughts on this whole Kyrie situation and the fact that he apparently like gave a list of teams that like he's cool with doing a sign and trade to and everything, and it's like a few of those teams have nothing to offer. So why would the Nets even want to do that? Like he listed the Lakers. Like, sure, there's Russell Westbrook that like pretty much has to be in that conversation if you actually offer a sign and trade to the Lakers. But when it comes down to it, some of the other teams, like the Clippers, like who exactly are the Clippers okay with getting rid of? I mean, you're what, like Reggie Jackson and Kennard, like.
Oh yeah. Oh no, but. You hear the Clippers right now interested in maybe D'Angelo Russell, so that's something to keep an eye on. But at this point, I would be like, listen, Kyrie, this is not working out. You can opt in all you want, but we're not giving you anything else after the season. So go ahead and opt in. You're not going to make demands to us. We'll trade you where we want to trade you, and if you don't like it, then we're willing to part ways with you right now. The Nets have all the leverage in the world. They can pay Kyrie more money than any other team. So they can pay him considerably more money than any other team. And considering Nike's not really too thrilled with Kyrie, I'm sure he could use a little bit extra cash these days. So Brooklyn honestly holds all the cards, and I don't think that Kyrie's in the position to be making demands. So if you want to go to the Lakers, that's fine. However, Marks did a great job in kind of getting plenty back for James Harden in terms of getting Ben Simmons, Drummond, Curry, all those guys. He's in the same position with the Lakers, so we're looking at possibly not only can you get Russell Westbrook, but you might be able to get Taylor Horton-Tucker, like all this other shit, because the Lakers don't know what the hell they're doing, and if they have the opportunity to get Kyrie Irving, they're so desperate at this point in time that they'll take it.
Yep. No, I completely agree, and it's like I don't understand how long are you going to just be okay with him creating this whole sideshow of things until you're finally like, all right, enough is enough. You're either playing and supporting this team and we'll do what we need to do to like get a team around you and you just like go out there and play, or like get your ass off the team. Like at some point, I know he's like the superstar and everything, but like at some point you have to come up with an ultimatum.
We're beyond that at this point, and honestly, they should have been sick of it at the beginning of the year. But when they try to play the hard ass approach by saying we're not going to play him as long as he's not vaccinated, and then kind of do a complete 180 on it, yeah, I mean, this your room to be a hard ass is over.
Exactly.
So when Sean Marks comes out and says, we want guys who are committed to winning, you have absolutely no, like, it doesn't matter what you say at this point because nobody can believe what you're saying in terms of how your stance is on Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Brooklyn's not going to win with Kyrie Irving, and the fact that even having James Harden on the team was better than not having Ben Simmons didn't even play. So you could have had James Harden this year, and the only reason that why James Harden is because of Kyrie. And the fact that Kevin Durant can't see that his buddy's a fucking train wreck, there's a problem. Which makes me start to question whether Kevin Durant is right for that team as well. Because you got guys like, there was a rumor coming out that Patty Mills, his future, whether he was going to go back to Brooklyn, was supposedly whether Kyrie's going to be there or not. I don't fucking blame him one bit.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, I got to go, fellas.
All right, Dennis. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it.
Mike, it's a pleasure to see you. Are you all right back there?
Yeah, I'm good.
I think the new studios
I'm a little gun shy after all my trades today, getting yelled at by people.
Yeah, well, I mean, when guys stop offering stupid trades in our league, and then maybe we would be able to. But see, you and I, at least, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things related to fantasy sports. But the one
that's because you're a dumbass,
right? You're a stupid fuck. So the only thing that we see eye to eye on is that when it comes down to it, we have the cojones to pull the trigger on these, and that I always respected out of you.
I tried to hit up Speedy Claxton, but he didn't want to hear me. He didn't want to make a trade with me.
Is that what he said? He just didn't want to trade with you?
No, he just never answered.
Ah.
So basically, he doesn't want to trade with you. All right,
By the way,
boys.
real quick before you go, Dennis, did you get I don't think you got added to the starting lineup like me.
For what?
Oh, you figure that one out. But Alex said his head wasn't shiny, and I can see it shine right now. So he's a liar.
It looks good though.
Oh, yeah, I'm sweating. It's hot in this room. I have no fans in here, and it's all lights.
You don't
I
have central air.
got a space heater going on right now.
You don't have central
Space?
air.
No, we do, but this is on the third floor, so like the air getting up here, like it gets up here, but
Third
it's not that
floor?
cold.
Heat
Yeah.
rises.
Where the fuck do you live in? A mansion?
A townhouse.
Just make
The
sure,
opposite.
Just make sure my my room is picked out. So
Sixers zeroing in on a John Collins trade.
The Sixers?
Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris.
There's no way in hell.
he's fucking with you.
Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah,
say.
exactly.
There's no way they're offering Tyrese Maxey for John Collins. Mike likes to overrate John Collins a lot.
I like, well, especially in a defensive end, apparently.
Exactly.
Have a great night.
All right, Dennis. We'll talk to you later. So, while Dennis was talking, we have a couple picks happen. San Antonio landed Jeremy Sochan with the number 9 pick. And as per Woj, the Wizards are about to pick Wisconsin's Johnny Davis.
Another guy that was winless at the rack this year. I must say, good
is
player.
that
He's a good player.
the
He's a very good player. He's a guy. When I watched him play, and I saw him against
Mhm.
Rutgers, I was like, now that's a pro. That's a guy that every time he touches the ball, you knew either he was scoring, somebody on his team was scoring, or it was going to take a really good defensive play to stop him. And it wasn't just because they had a great scheme around him or great players around him. He was a definite difference maker, and that's what you look for in the college game. You want these guys to stand out. He definitely stood out. He really blossomed this year. I think he led the Big Ten in points. But absolute star. I think he's going to be a very good. What team did he go to? He's going to Washington. I
Washington?
mean,
Yeah.
I know Beal's probably going to leave, but he wouldn't be bad next to Beal. But what does Washington have on their roster right now?
In terms of guards,
No, in terms of talent.
they have Kuzma. They
Not
have
Porzingis.
Caldwell Pope. Oh yeah, they do have Porzingis now because they traded away Dinwiddie.
They got Porzingis. They got Rui. They have Kispert. I mean,
They have Thomas Bryant.
Assuming Beal leaves, they're going to be very bad next year.
Oh yeah, I mean they weren't very good this year either.
But it should be.
What do you know much about Sochan? Because he's one that I tried to look
I
up
don't know
a little.
much. I didn't watch a lot of Baylor. I do know he's one of those guys that kind of just like does a little of everything, but like at a high level. He's not going to get you 25 and 4. He's going to get you 18, 7, 6, 4, 2 steal. You know what I mean? He's an all-around great player. He's a stat sheet stuffer supreme, as they like to call him in 2K. Johnny Davis looks like the most nervous person I've ever seen in my life walking up on stage.
Where am I here? So I was just looking up a little bit about Jerami Sochan. I just wanted to see like the kind of comparison that
the Knicks are up, and Jalen Duran is available. So there was rumors that they would trade for Ivy here, but then they said they kind of shut those down. So see what happens here.
By the way, Bleacher Report's pro comparison for Jerami Sochan is Nicholas Batum.
Yeah, a guy who does a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Not like super elite at any one thing, but decent enough. So New York is on the clock. Jalen Duren's still up to be drafted. Obviously, I just want to see Jalen Duren go to a great situation because he's from Philly, and saw him play many times in high school. Kid is great. IQ is great. Athleticism is great. I could really see him actually like being able to make a difference, especially as a backup big man, but even breaking a starting lineup. I could see it happening. But right now at the Knicks, I mean, they looked really good 2 seasons ago. Lost in the first round to Trae Young and the Hawks 4-1. Last season just plummeted. Didn't look great. They're bringing back Tibbs, I believe. And I don't really know why, because I don't think Tibbs is really like the one that'll bring them to the promised land or even build on a lot of their talent. But I guess it is what it is.
The pick is in for New York. They're taking the foreign kid, Usman Dieng.
Interesting.
No clue anything about him.
Interesting. You got sticky keys on or something over there?
No, I have my beep on.
Out of all things, that's what the Knicks go with? I guess that's a very Knicks move. But man, I don't know. That's weird. I don't even know much about that guy. I didn't even look up much about him, to be honest with you. And even then, like, I don't know. What about AJ Griffin? Is he like what do you think about AJ Griffin?
I thought AJ Griffin was good. I just thought he was a little overshadowed by Mark Williams and Paolo Banchero at Duke. That's a problem when you take these second and third tier. I don't want to say third tier, but when you take the secondary star, third star at Duke, Kentucky, or North Carolina or whatever. These guys are good players, and if they were on their own, they might have got drafted higher or shown more. But I thought AJ Griffin was in the running for the Julius Irving Award, one of the best small forwards in the country last year. He's a good scorer. I know good. I think he's a really above average defender from what I remember. Let's see what they comp him as. They're comping him as a Jimmy Butler, Jumbo Gary Trent Jr. So a 3-and-D guy, who if he hits on the Jimmy Butler, he blossoms into an all-around star.
Okay.
Ousmane Dieng, they give high upside Kyle Henderson and Paul George. So boomer bust prospect who looked really good in the second half in the new what?
We have a trade.
What is the trade?
The Knicks are trading Ousmane Dieng to Oklahoma City. We don't know for what just yet.
The Thunder will send multiple first-round picks to New York.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Where's that? Who said that?
Woj, 23 seconds later.
Multiple first-round picks for this guy?
Yeah. They comped him to Paul George, and then he worked out with Paul George. But
I am so confused. So I love how also on the draft coverage under his name they've usually been saying like, oh, good 3-point shooter or good this, good that. All they said for him was modern skill set. That's all they had underneath his name. But like
moving forward, and Oklahoma City is back on the clock at number 12.
Oh, and Oklahoma City's on the clock at 12. So they traded for Dieng at 11. And then they're on the clock. If I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah, they are back on the clock at 12. So they traded for this number 11 pick, but they traded multiple later first round picks for it. We're still waiting to see what exactly, like, which picks those are. So you're telling me the Knicks just traded out of the first round in general, and all they're getting out of this is multiple first... I mean, don't get me wrong, multiple first round picks are good, but you didn't even get the 12th pick or anything? There has to be some sort of secondary plan to trade these multiple picks for something. Like some package for... Whether it be like, I don't know, a Bradley Beal or like, there's got to be something.
Tyrese Halliburton. Turn them Woj notifications on. It's about to be a movie.
I'm literally just watching Knicks fans. They all were like so upset about drafting
OKC is going to walk out of this on. You're telling me that OKC, after all those trades and all those picks, is going to walk out of this draft with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, Ousmane Dieng, and whoever the hell they take here. And then Lou Dort and other players. I'm just waiting for the Woj bomb.
I'm waiting for something because there has to be something from both of these teams, to be honest. Like, I don't... All right. Because I will always be salty about this because... So, the NBA front office comes in on, Sam Hinkie and the Sixers for just being terrible and trading away all these picks and all that kind of stuff. Getting and just storing up all these assets, all these picks. And, the league comes in and steps in on that. OKC, realistically, sure, they've won some games and they haven't, put a terrible product on the floor, but they haven't been realistically competing for anything in a long time. And now, yes, they get Chet, but now they trade multiple of these picks for this guy that we don't even know what the hell he's going to be. A lot of people don't even have him up this high, anywhere close to this high. And I don't see them being much better next year than they are this year, especially because a lot of these guys that they're getting are going to have to grow. Like, I don't even see them making the playoffs in 2 years.
Oklahoma City's taking Jalen Williams at 12. He was a pretty big wild card coming out of a shooting guard out of Santa Clara. Williams has been a star in the pre-draft process and could sneak into the back end of the lottery. Would be a nice fit next to LaMelo in Charlotte. His comp is a longer Spencer Dinwiddie.
Longer Spencer Dinwiddie.
But somebody tweeted out, goes, OKC's roster is just long wins and vibes.
It really is. Like, I don't really understand the direction of Oklahoma City right now. I understood it from the beginning of, like, getting the assets, trying to store assets and make a move when the iron's hot or whatever you want to say. But out of everything, like, I do like Gilgeous-Alexander, but I mean, he's also been pretty injury prone so far. I do like Josh Giddey. I do like Chet. I think Chet will be a very good player. But out of all of this, is this team really going to be any good within 3 to 4 seasons?
Who, OKC?
Yeah.
I think they could be good in two. I mean, if Chet is as good as advertised, we already know how good Shai is, and we all think Josh is going to Giddey's going to take a big step forward. If Chet's good by his second year, I mean, you'll have a big three. It's going to be amazing in 2 years, and you're filling it in now with some good players that can develop. I don't see why not. They're going to have all the cap space in the world.
But you have to they have to re-sign Gilgeous-Alexander soon, don't they?
Yeah,
he's 23.
Yeah, he'll get a max deal. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna trade Giddey, Jalen Williams, and 4 future first-round picks to the Nets for Kevin Durant.
For Kevin Durant?
Yeah. And he's gonna go. It's gonna come full circle.
Like LeBron in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh god. And then they'll trade a really late first round pick for Russell Westbrook and get the whole band back together.
Yeah. And James Harden.
True. They got to get James Harden back. Yeah, as far as Jalen Williams goes, after what you said, I don't really know much about him either. I've researched a good amount of guys, but
somebody called Chet Holmgren the South Park goth kid with his draft suit.
All right, that's pretty amazing. Just updating our big board here at the bottom for those of you that are watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. And if you are, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you guys are listening to this after the fact on all the audio platforms, we're on Spotify, Apple, everywhere you get your podcasts. We appreciate you tuning in as well, but just want to let you guys know we do go live every week with our episode, and you can see a bunch of things on there if you enjoy video more than the audio portion. So what do you think overall? Like, do you think this draft is going the way you expected it to? Is it like going completely differently? What do you think?
I'm sorry, what were you asking me? I was reading a tweet.
Like, what do you think of the draft so far? Is this going how you thought it would go? Is it going completely differently? What are your thoughts like of the overall draft so far now that we're on pick 13?
I think we've had a lot of surprises. I didn't think, OKC would pull off a trade to get him 3 of the top 12 picks. I didn't think Keegan Murray would go 4. I'm listening to Woj now, but it's weird. Woj just is repeating everything I said.
I mean, Charlotte has some decent picks left, too. They have 13 and 15. If they could get Jalen Duren, I think that would be huge for Charlotte. Like, one of the biggest things that Charlotte has always needed is a rim-protecting center, especially an athletic one. And Jalen Duren gives you that type of player. Especially, I mean, Jalen Duren already has like an NBA type of frame. He adds on some more muscle. Jalen Duren could be a big-time center for Charlotte, especially running with LaMelo Ball. You also have a guy to take some heat off of, what's his name? I forget. Miles Bridges. Like, I think Duren would be a great pick for them, especially if they could somehow get AJ Griffin and Duren. That would be huge for Charlotte. Although I do like Malachi Branham too. I think Branham could be a pretty solid player in the NBA.
Branham reminds me so much of Karis LeVert.
I could see that.
Another guy.
I can see that comparison.
Another guy that did not beat Rutgers. He actually got blocked by Caleb McConnell on a game-saving play. And for that, I will always thank Caleb McConnell and Malachi Branham.
What do you think of Branham's teammate, though? E.J. Liddell.
He was a stud. I'm just trying to... let me send you that. I think E.J. Liddell is a stud. He kind of reminds me of Melo, the way he plays. But I don't know if he has enough to be a good NBA player. That doesn't mean I think he can contribute. I don't know if he has enough to become a star, but I really liked him. He's another guy that every time the ball got to his hands, it was trouble.
Right.
And
he's a guy that I've heard a lot about somehow falling to the Sixers. I don't think he's going to fall all the way to 23. But he is a guy that I've been hearing a lot about down at the Sixers pick. Which, I mean, if they're trading away Tobias Harris, Liddell kind of sounds like he might be like a Tobias Harris light.
Who? Liddell?
Yeah.
You keep comping everyone to Tobias Harris. Will you stop?
I've comped one person to Tobias Harris.
No, you comped someone earlier to Tobias Harris.
No, I didn't. I ain't comp anyone to Tobias Harris.
When I was on the phone with you, oh, Ron Harper Jr., you said.
I didn't say Tobias.
Memphis is taking Jalen Duren, who I'm surprised.
Charlotte?
Charlotte is taking Memphis' Jalen Duren.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Let's go, Jalen. That's what I'm talking about.
What, do you know him?
Yeah.
From where?
Did you miss the part that I've been to his high school games and I took pictures at his high school games?
Oh, you don't actually know him.
No, like I've introduced myself and I've met him and I like have messaged him, like actively talked to him on Instagram and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to see a screenshot of that.
All right. I can dig that up for you. I made a video. Well, I took pictures, and then I think I had a video of him in it too. So I got all the receipts. But no, I really like this pick for Charlotte. I mean, I think Jalen Duren fits perfectly into what they have going on. And if I'm Charlotte, I trade Gordon Hayward as fast as I can, get something good for him. There's got to be a team out there that could use his services, especially a competing team right now. Get just a decent 3-and-D kind of wing or something, or someone with some veteran leadership, and you're golden. I really like what Charlotte's got
I think
going on.
Duren fits that team so well. And he's going to be their starting center.
Oh yeah,
he's so much better than Mason Plumlee. Oh, the Hornets traded down Jalen Duren to the Knicks.
What?
Wait, hold on. Woj tweeted 38 seconds ago, Pistons are acquiring Jalen Duren at 13 in a trade. A second before that, Hornets traded Jalen Duren to the Knicks. Where the hell is Jalen Duren going?
Oh, I see. It's Shams versus Woj. Who got it right?
Where is Jalen Duren going?
Oh my god. Is Duren... Oh Lord. So one of the friends of the show, Aram Canuccio, he's been tweeting out like some highlights of every prospect when they get drafted, and also like their stats and everything. In his one season at Memphis, Duren put up 12 points, 8 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.8 steals, 2.1 blocks a game, 59.7% from the floor, but only 62.5% from the free throw line. 2.1 blocks, the 8.1 rebounds and everything, 12 points a game too, when his offensive game is still very raw, and it's something that needs to be upgraded. There's the sky's the limit with this kid, and I can't wait to see what team he gets traded to, and second off, how his NBA career continues to move on. But as of right now, I still don't understand. It still hasn't exactly been hammered out if he's going to the Knicks or if he's going to Detroit.
I keep refreshing Twitter, what is going on?
Stefan Bondi from the New York Daily News, he says the Knicks are acquiring Jalen Duren from the Hornets. And he says Ivy could still be in play for a Duren package. So maybe the Pistons got Ivy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they traded him to the Knicks, and then the Knicks are trading Duren then to the Pistons for Ivy?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Breaking news. Tweet from Matt Brooks. Jalen Duren is going to a basketball team, I'm told.
Literally, Barstool Sports, what is happening?
Still trying to find out where he got traded. Also a tweet. Now the draft is drunk.
Oh, here we go. We're back.
Cleveland's pick is in.
Cleveland is locked in on Kansas Ochai Agbaji.
I mean, that's great. Oh, wait.
Draft. No picks until we figure out what is happening with Jalen Duren.
Knicks are trading Kemba Walker to Detroit. Jake Fisher then...
Is Kemba
Jake
Walker...
Fisher... What?
Is Kemba Walker still even on the Knicks?
Technically.
Jake
Fisher said, to be honest, I don't know where Duren is going, but this sounds like a 3-team trade with Detroit, New York, and Charlotte. Knicks acquired Jalen Duren and moved him with Kemba Walker to the Pistons, is what Shams is saying.
Okay, but where's Jaden Ivey?
I don't know yet. But
Well, Durant to the Pistons, if they got to keep Ivy, would be great. What?
if the Pistons keep Ivy, Cunningham, they get Duren, and then now they have Kemba, but like I don't know, you probably just like buy Kemba out or release him or something. But on top of Sadiq Bey, Detroit got something going on.
Somebody's got to be going back from Detroit.
I mean, yeah. Maybe Isaiah Stewart?
Beef stew.
Because if they're getting a center, you really don't need Isaiah Stewart anymore.
This is insanity.
But also, that is a question mark for the Knicks too. Because why would you? It makes sense to trade away Jalen Duren because you still have Mitchell Robinson.
No, he's a free agent.
But they're probably going to re-sign him.
Not if he gets a bag somewhere.
True. Somebody just said, really feels like all these Knicks moves are clearing the way for them getting Kyrie. I don't understand what the hell's going on. Someone just said they should make Jalen Duren wear a hat that just has the NBA logo. No team logo, just the NBA logo. I gotta say, though, the Pistons right now, if they keep Ivy, might be the winners of the draft so far.
Well, is Charlotte's got to be taking Mark Williams here.
I mean, I don't know. First off, what is Charlotte getting back in this trade? Because the only thing we've seen is people going from the Knicks to Detroit. We haven't heard what Detroit's giving up, and we haven't heard what Charlotte is getting either. Maybe Isaiah Stewart goes to Charlotte? Or maybe Charlotte gets like Marvin Bagley, or maybe Sadiq Bey gets traded? If I was Detroit, I would not trade Sadiq Bey, but...
All right, here we go. The Pistons are sending the Hornets the 25 first-round pick via Milwaukee in the Duren trade. Detroit got the pick Portland from Jerami Grant yesterday.
Okay. So, if that's all Charlotte's getting, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
Charlotte will take Mark Williams at 15. That we knew.
Okay. Man, I don't know. Another from Hoops Rumors, John Collins is now unlikely to be dealt tonight. But, man, I don't understand.
That can't be the only thing.
That can't be. If that is, Charlotte got absolutely fleeced.
How do I add like another? How do I add like a new? I'm on TweetDeck. I want to add like just a Woj, like column.
You just go to add column and then user, and then you just search for Woj, I think. Yeah, Woj ESPN, and then you add a column. But yeah, so far all he has is the Pistons are getting that 2025 first round pick, and I'm gonna say it one last time. If that's all they're getting, I don't know what Charlotte is thinking.
Fuck them kids.
Like,
Hawks
honestly.
are taking AJ Griffin. All right, hold on. No, never mind. This is insane. This whole.
I mean, I will say this for the Knicks. It was a great move to clear up cap space to get rid of Kemba Walker. That's nice in terms of the Knicks. There has to be some sort of plan to either maybe they're clearing up all this. What?
No, nothing.
Maybe they're clearing up all this cap space to like really go hard for like Brunson in free agency. Maybe it is just a free agency type of move. I don't know, but
I feel like Stewart has to be on the move though, because Stewart and Durant are similar players.
right. And Stewart's been pretty hurt the last couple seasons, hasn't he?
Yeah. On top of the future first-round pick, the Hornets also acquired 4 second-round picks in the deal for Jalen Durant.
4 second-round picks?
Yeah.
Yeah. As Woj states right here, tremendous coup for Detroit GM Troy Weaver to land 2 of his top targets in this draft, Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, with the cost of only a future first-round pick. Detroit making big-time moves. Those 4 second-round picks probably won't mean shit. Scooter Sports here says the NBA draft and the trades are so confusing sometimes. Completely agreed. And he said 4 seconds. You're literally reiterating our thoughts, Scooter Sports. It makes no sense. 4 seconds is like it almost feels like a 2K trade when you do like the trade finder. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, if you trade 2 second rounds from this year and 3 second rounds from the next year, you could get LeBron James. Like, I'm sorry, what? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, this is insane.
And there still hasn't been any. So. Wait, so what are the Knicks getting in return? I just realized.
They got out of Kemba Walker's contract.
I was about to say, I was like, wait, the Knicks got nothing.
Well, what did the Knicks give up? They're still trying to figure out their future first. This is hilarious.
Scooter says, I guess they think they can trade for a first eventually with them. I mean, yeah, that does happen a lot. I mean, in this case specifically, you get a bunch of second-round picks, and usually you can package those to either get like back into like the late first round or whatever it may be. So it's either that or I guess just a kind of different approach to things. Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked that they're making a WNBA comparison with Mark Williams. Is this his sister?
No, it's
Is
his
that
sister. That's his sister.
okay? That's what I was. Once I saw the last name, I was like, all right, that makes more sense.
They're not out here. They're not out here. Giving WNBA comps.
Scooter also said, I think the return is just getting his contract off. Yeah, it must be because, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, it is a good move by the Knicks to actually get off of that contract. At least they don't have to pay Kemba all that money to not really play. So that is a good move by them, but Man, that had to have been one of the weirdest trades I've ever seen on the draft so far. Not just this year, but like out of any year.
If I was an NBA GM, I would just stay on the phone constantly with the Kings and the Hornets.
Oh, God. Fred Katz tweeted, a tremendous example of how confused the world is with the Knicks' dealings right now. Texted a source to ask if he knew which picks were going where, and he just mentioned Mark Williams going 15 to Charlotte, and then said, somehow, I don't know though, LOL. Someone just asked, why does Woj hop when he talks?
I'm seeing that. I'm watching him right now.
Literally, once I saw that tweet, I looked to the left and he was hopping as he started speaking again. I'm like, oh, God, he actually does.
So the Knicks opened up. Meanwhile, the Knicks will free up $13 million of cap space, sending Durant and Walker to Detroit. Knicks have a path to $15+ million of cap space right now.
Oh, okay. So we have the Hawks are picking AJ Griffin. Yeah. So the Hawks picking AJ Griffin. Oh, the Hawks haven't even officially made their pick, and Woj already tweeted out the Rockets pick at 17.
He already tweeted he tweeted the Rockets pick too.
That's what I just said. So we have AJ Griffin going now at 16.
That's why the Hawks.
What?
That's what the Knicks are doing.
What?
They hired Rick Brunson, so they're clearing cap space to sign Jalen Brunson.
Oh yeah, they hired Rick Brunson a while ago. I think it was either last week or the week before. Dennis and I talked about the possibility of Brunson to the Knicks because of them hiring Rick Brunson. I mean, obviously, yeah, that's a big play into the fact that they want to lure Brunson to New
Somebody
York.
tweeted out Barstool Sports everything the Knicks did tonight, and it's the rebounding video from Dennis Rodman from the Last Dance.
Oh God!
Click and go back this way. Boom, here. Click and go that way. Boom, that way. Click here and go back this way.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Oh my God. So Detroit gets the pick via Charlotte and New York. Just updating our big board again because had to really figure out what the hell was going on to see where Duran was ending up. And then we had Cleveland with Agabaji. And then 15, we had, who do we have at 15? Oh, Mark Williams to Charlotte. And then 16, we ended up having AJ Griffin to Atlanta. And then 17, we ended up having the Rockets getting Tari Eason. And Woj just said something here. He said, Houston has considered Eason the best defender in the draft, taken by his ability to switch and play with aggression. I've heard a lot of good things about Eason, so that is especially down all the way at 17. That's a pretty good pick. But I think we're about to wrap things up here in a bit. Not the actual draft itself, obviously.
Just a lot of craziness happened in the last 15 minutes.
I know. And if I didn't have to wake my ass up to play an entire volleyball tournament for 3 days in a row, I'd be on here for the entire draft. But and to be honest, watching this whole thing, I mean, the Knicks made a move, but other than that, the Atlantic Division has been very quiet. The Sixers pick isn't until 23.
Nets are going through identity crisis.
True. The Sixers pick isn't until 23. Toronto's pick isn't until later. They still have their pick, right? I think they do. The Nets, like you said, going through an identity crisis. They don't know what they're doing. That is so loud. That just blew my eardrums out.
Did it really?
That was super loud.
Do you see the video of Stephen A. Smith just in disbelief?
Of which pick?
What the Knicks were doing?
I did not see that.
The trade to Detroit and now has the New York with 100. So they're at 18 million cap space right now.
Okay. I mean, that's really good cap space wise. But my thing is, all right, they're clearing this cap space. If they get Brunson, that doesn't all of a sudden make them a championship contender still. So I guess it is what it is. Houston's pick is in. We already told you guys, though, because Woj tells us everything. Tari Eason is their pick coming up. Yeah, but other than that...
A big part of trading Kemba Walker, if the Knicks renounce Ryan Arcidiacono's cap hold and waive Taj Gibson, who his salary is not... They can open up $20 million of cap space. I think they'll do that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't. Get them out of there while you can. It's not like they're going to.
Another part is number whose salary the Knicks don't have to pay because now he plays for the Thunder.
I don't know how I feel about these draft hats, by the way.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Yeah, they're not great. They're not like the worst, but they're just kind of weird looking. Not a huge fan. But so I will, unless you got anything else to get off your chest right now, I'm going to run down the list of who has been picked so far, and I think we will leave it at that for the night and let you guys enjoy the NBA draft, and we'll talk about things next week, especially with free agency looming in the distance and everything like that.
Kemba Walker and Pistons are expected to discuss a buyout.
Not surprised.
It's crazy. This is crazy. So crazy.
Not surprised at all. But to reiterate for those of you who might be at home or those of you who might just be listening with the draft on in the background, whatever it may be. So we had number 1, Paolo Banchero go to the Orlando Magic. Then Chet went number 2 to OKC. Jabari Smith, number 3 to Houston. We had Keegan Murray go number 4 to Sacramento. Then Jaden Ivey, number 5 to Detroit. We had Ben Mathurin, number 6 to Indiana. Shaedon Sharpe to the Blazers at number 7. Dyson Daniels to New Orleans at number 8. Jeremy Sochan to the Spurs at number 9. And then getting into the 10, the double digits, we had the Wizards getting Johnny Davis, the Knicks getting Jiang at number 11, who then traded that to the Thunder for multiple first-round picks. The Thunder then selected with the 12th pick, Jalen Williams. Charlotte then selected Jalen Duren at number 13, traded it to the Knicks. Knicks traded him again with Kemba Walker to the Pistons. Then Cleveland took Agabaji from Kansas at number 14.
Ochai Abaji.
Abaji? The G's not pronounced?
No. Ochai
Okay.
Abaji.
Ochai Abaji.
All right. I know I struggle with Okongwu.
I did not know that one, so thank you for correcting me. Then we had Atlanta take A.J. Griffin at number 16. Rockets take Tari Eason at number 17. And apparently this just in from Shams, Chicago will take Dalen Terry at number 18. But unless you have anything else to get off your chest, Mike, I think that's it here for us.
Oh,
The man is tired.
I'm tired.
But thank you everyone for tuning in. Maybe next time we have everybody here and everything. We'll do the entire draft or the entire event of whatever it may be. But we appreciate everyone tuning in from the live stream. Any of you listening after the fact, we appreciate it. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We also stream live to Facebook. And then we are everywhere you get your podcasts as well. Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Please rate, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. We appreciate it all. Give us a follow on Twitch. Subscribe on there as well. Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you guys next week. We are the Atlantic Files Podcast, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA. Brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. See you guys next week. Peace.